Good evening, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Please respond. Can you all hear me? Yes? Okay. Just wait and we'll start the session. Okay. So I hope that you all can hear me. All right. So let's start with the today's session. Okay. So there will be three sets we'll be discussing today, and each set has 4 questions each. So approximately 2.5 hours it will take for the entire discussion. So let's start with the first set. All right, so I'm going to discuss the first set which is in front of your screen. How much time do you need for 4 questions? One set, 4 questions. Tell me for the first set. How many questions? 10 minutes. All right. So I'm giving you 10 minutes for the first set. I think 10 minutes is sufficient. All right. So if needed, I can give you at that point of time after 10 minutes. So let's start here. So this is the first set. Time limit will be 10 minutes. So right now the time is 9:02. So 9:02 to 9:12. Okay. And no one will write the answers here. We'll discuss the answers later on. I'll create a poll after 10 minutes and I'll give you another 2 minutes to mark your answers in the poll. In total, you have got 12 minutes. So please start now. Just check whether you all have got the right. Can we get through the slides? No, just wait. Now again check all of you. All of you please check again. One more thing, we have uploaded 3 new tests of GK under the XAT Decision-Making test. Available from 22nd of December. All right, so let's start. I'll give you 10 minutes. All of you please start. So please mark your answers in the poll, all of you. All right, let's start with the discussion. So most of you have left this question. I'm not sure most of you, but still 30 to 35% of you have not attempted this question. So let's start with this particular set here, first of all. Let me first of all explain this set. Was it a difficult or easy? Please tell me. Difficult one, it's more of a reading comprehension, you can say. Let's see. I can say that decisions are often risky in the sense that the outcomes are not known with certainty. Okay. Presented with a choice between a risky prospect that offers 50% chance to win $200. Okay. So there is a 50% chance. Okay, there is a risky prospect which offers 50% chance to win $200, otherwise nothing. Or an alternative of receiving $100 for sure. Most people will prefer the sure gain over the gamble. Okay. Although, okay, any doubts till this line till here? I think it's clear. Okay. That if you had got a 50% chance of getting $200, or if I am getting $100 for sure, then people will definitely prefer for the sure gain over the gamble. Although the two prospects have the same expected value. Now, first of all, you need to understand what is the expected value. Now, expected value is one thing which we have already discussed in the probability in detail. If you had attended the probability lectures, expected value is the sum of possible outcome weighted by their probability of occurrence. So it is the sum of possible outcomes weighted by their probability of occurrence. Okay, that is the definition of expected value. For example, let me explain. If I say it's actually given by the formula, the expected value, I can write down, let's say EV. The expected value is nothing but that is equal to, you can say value or x1 into probability of getting x1 plus x2 into probability of getting x2, okay, plus x3 into probability of getting x3, and so on. That is the expected value. For example, if I throw a dice, okay, if I throw a dice, then I'll get a number 1. And what is the probability of getting 1? Can anyone tell me? On throwing a single dice, what is the probability of getting 1 by 6? So, x1, I'm getting the value 1, and the probability is nothing but 1 by 6. Plus, if I'm getting a value 2, and the probability of getting 2 on throwing a dice is again 1 by 6. And then 3, probability of getting 3 is also 1 by 6. I can also get 4, and probability of getting 4 is also 1 by 6. Or I can get 5, and probability of getting 5 is also 1 by 6 plus 6 into 1 by 6. And which will be approximately comes out to be 3.5. Okay, I think 3.5 पे आएगा. You all can see. Sum of both 6 natural number is 15. 15 by 6. Yes, it's 3.5 or 2.5. What is the value of this expression? Sum of both 6 natural number, 6 7 is 42. That is 21 by 6. 21 by 6 is 3.5. 3.5. Okay. So if I'm throwing a dice, the expected value is nothing but that is 3.5 in a long run here. Okay. So this is how the expected value is calculated here. That is the definition. And if you forget, you can please revise the probability. Now, it says preference for a sure outcome over a risky prospect of equal expectation. So in this case, if you look at here, I'm getting $200 with a 50% chance. So expected value in that case, I'm getting $200 with a 50% chance. I can say the expected value is nothing but that is 0.5 into 200, which is 100 rupees. So it's expected that I'll get 100 rupees. And in the second case, an alternative of receiving 100 for sure. So probability is 1 into I'm getting $100. So 1 into 100, 100. So in both the cases, expected value is same, but still people will prefer one. Which one? The one in which the case is probability is 1. There is a source of chances of this. So people, and this particular thing is known as a risk averse. So preference for sure outcome over a risky prospect. Okay, this is the risky prospect over the same expected value. Both of them have the same expected value of 100. Okay, this is known as the risk averse. So now, any doubts to anyone regarding the definition of the risk averse? Clear? The meaning of the risk averse to everyone? Please tell me. All right, great. So let's move forward. Now, after that, it says, indeed, people tend to be risk averse when choosing between prospects with a positive outcome. So whenever there is a positive outcomes like this one, if you are gaining something, so people usually take care, prefer a sure outcome over a risky prospect, जहाँ पे उनकी ज़्यादा chances है, ठीक है? And they are called risk averse. Indeed, people tend to be risk averse when choosing between prospects with a positive outcome. The tendency toward risk aversion can be explained by the notion of diminishing sensitivity, first formalized by the Daniel Bernoulli in 1738. So Bernoulli is one person who will never left you. Okay, he was in class 10th, 11th, 12th, maybe in the graduation also during the engineering or in the physics, and now he's in the decision making also. So हमेशा परेशान करते रहा पूरी life में. Alright. So now let's move on. Further it says, just as the impact of a candle is greater when it is brought into the dark room than in a room that is well lit, so suggested Bernoulli. Okay. The utility resulting. Now, yeah, I think the Bernoulli's theorem is quite clear that just as the impact of a candle is greater when it is brought into a dark room than into a room that is well lit, so suggested Bernoulli. The utility resulting from a small increase in wealth. Okay, now that is important. The utility resulting from a small increase in wealth will be inversely proportional to the amount of wealth already in one possession. For example, if I say, let's say if I've got, if someone is already earning 1 lakh rupees per month, okay, 1 lakh rupees per month, and there is another person who is earning 1 crore per month, okay. So those who are earning 1 lakh per month, if he gets a bonus of rupees 10,000, so for that person, a bonus of 10,000 is a very great value. But someone who is already earning a crore per month, and if he is earning let's say 10,000 rupees, so for them it is nothing at all. So that's what the Bernoulli's theorem explains. It will be inversely proportional to the amount of wealth already in one person. So if someone has very few wealth, and if there is a small increase in wealth, So that is what Bernoulli's theorem is. So I hope that it is clear, Bernoulli's theorem. Any doubts to anyone? Can I move ahead? Okay. After that, it has since been assumed that people have a subjective utility function. Okay. People have a subjective utility function. So we'll discuss what is subjective utility function. People have a subjective utility function, and that preferences should be described using expected utility. So now there is another term, expected utility, instead of expected value. Now what is subjective utility function? Subjective utility function, usually it is nothing but it is a, you can say a logarithmic function or maybe exponential function, sort of this is a subjective utility function. For example, let me draw and show it to you what is subjective utility function. For example, if I say so I'm just drawing a plate. Let's say this is a subjective utility function. Okay, it's a simple curve. Okay. And I can say one more thing here. Let me draw the figure first of all. This is subjective value. Y-axis is nothing but that is represents subjective value. Okay, and let's say this is dollar. Okay. What does it say? Expected utility. According to expected utility, the worth of gamble offering a 50% chance to win $200, otherwise nothing, is 0.50 into utility. According to expected utility, also the formula is same. I am getting x1 into utility function of x1. Okay, plus x2 into utility function of x2, utility value of x2, and so on. And this is nothing but this is known as the expected utility. This is how expected utility is calculated. Okay? So it says, according to expected utility, the worth of a gamble offering a 50% chance to win $200, otherwise nothing, is 0.5 into utility value of $200. Or is the person's concave utility function. A function is concave or convex if a line joining 2 points on the curve lies entirely below. So for example, in this particular figure, now tell me, is it a concave or convex? If I draw a line, if I join any 2 points on this particular curve, you can see this line is always below the curve. Yes or no? So such type of the function, it is nothing but it is basically known as the concave function. Alright, so this function is nothing but it's a concave function. Is that clear to all of you? Can I move ahead? Okay. Now, so this is a concave function. Let me go back to the previous slide. After that, it says a function is concave or convex, this one now. It follows from a concave function that subjective value attached to a gain of $100 is more than 50% of the value attached to a gain of $200, which entails preference for the sure $100 and discounts. Now, what will happen in this case? If I draw, let's say this is $100, okay, and then this is a $200. Let's say this is $2. Just a minute. If I say this is 100 and then there is a $200, draw a line like this one, and this is like this. Okay. Now, so if I say this is $100 and this is $200, so this is the utility value on y-axis for $100, and then this is the utility value on this is 200. So now tell me one thing. If I ask you, okay, 1 into utility value of 100 and 0.5 into utility value of 200, which one will be greater? Can anyone tell me by following this curve? We know that the utility value of this one, but utility value of 200 is not more than the double of utility value of 100. Yes or no? Iska double to nahi hai na? So which one is greater? The first part is greater or the second part is greater? Of course, The second part, sorry, Manak is saying first part. What about the others? Sani, Mayank, Falak, Nihar, Pooja, Rajendra. Which one is greater, the first part or the second part? How come the second part? Okay. The answer is, of course, the first part is greater. 1 into utility value of 100 is greater than 0.5 into 200. Now, for example, we do not know what is the utility value. Let's say utility value of 100 is 100. If I say the utility value of 100 is equal to, let's say, 100, so tell me utility value of 200. Utility value of जो 200 होगा वो क्या होगा? 150 से ज़्यादा होगा या कम होगा? By observing the graph, please tell me. Is it going to be more than 150 or less than 150? The graph is, it will be approximately less than 150. I'm just saying this is 100, let's say this is 50, this is 100, this is 200, 150. So tell me one thing, 1 into 100 and 0.5 into 150, which one is greater? Of course, the first one, now 1 into 100 is 100 and 0.5 into 150, it is nothing but that is 75. So this one is greater. So in that case, 1 into utility of 100 is always greater than 0.5 into utility value of 100. ठीक है, अगर इसकी वैल्यू मान लो इसके डबल से ज्यादा होती, ठीक है ना, दिस इज 100 into 1, had it been more than 200, so 200 into 0.5, ठीक है, you could have said. If it is 100, if this line y-axis represents 100, can it be 200 or less than 200? Think those who had said like Sayani and Pooja, तुम लोगों ने second बोला था ना. If I say this line represents 100, so is it more than 200 or less than 200? Just a reference point. If it is 100 y-axis, so this is utility value of 200 is always less than 200 होगा ना, पक्का 200 भी कर दो. So even if I say 0.5 into 200, it will be always 1 into 100 is always greater than 0.5 into 200. So that's why, and that is the reason that the expected utility of $100, ठीक है, is greater than the expected utility of $200 with a probability of 0.5, and that is the reason that the people prefer this one. So I hope that you understand that the expected value for both of them will be same. 1 into $100 is same as 0.5 into 200. So expected value for both of them is same, but expected utility of $100 is more than the expected utility for the $200, and that is the reason that people prefer a sure outcome over the riskier prospect. So this is what it says. It follows from a concave function that the subjective value attached to a gain of $100 is more than the 50% to the value attached to a gain of $200, which entails preference for the sure 100 time, and hence it is known as risk aversion. So I hope that now this entire paragraph is very much clear to all of you. There is no doubt. हाँ, 0.500 2 होगा तो वो 100 के इक्वल आ जाएगा, बट क्या ये 200 है? If this line is representing 200, Pooja, please tell me, or ये 200 से कम होगा. Then if it is less than 200, so 0.5 into something which is less than 200, it is always lesser than 1 into 100. Clear now? Okay. So any doubts to anyone? Please respond, keep responding. Can I move to the second slide? This slide. So whenever there is a positive outcome, we follow this one concave. From here also you can understand one thing. Like just a minute, let me plot one more graph. Which explains the Bernoulli's theorem also. Like this one. So if I plot a graph, if I say, let's say this is 100 and this is 200. Now, if I say these values, let me assign these values. This is $100 and this is $200. This is $800 and this is $900. So you can see this particular gap and this particular gap. Okay. So increase of 100, increase of 100, the utility value is, there is a lot of increase in the utility. But increase of the same amount from 800 to 900, the utility value will increase by a very less amount. and this is known as the bundle, which has been given there. Is that clear? A jump of $100 in rupees 100 and a jump of $100 in rupees 800. The utility will be much more. It will be having a much more impact in comparison to this one. Clear है सबको? That if you are earning a crores of rupees and if there is an increase of 100 rupees, there is no significance of that here, which will be keep on decreasing. Now, consider a now choice between the losses. So when it comes to the losses, teacher, what will happen in this case? I'm going to explain with the help of the another graph. So when it comes to the losses, we follow the convex graph. Okay, convex will be like this one. Okay, so probably you can say like this one. So consider now a choice between losses when asked to choose between a prospect that offers a 50% chance to lose $200 and alternative of losing $100 for sure. So if I'm losing here, if I'm losing $100 for sure, let me write it down. $100 for sure minus $100 and then 200 minus $200 for sure. Okay. Then it will be some completely reverse like this one. Okay. So you can see here the utility value of minus $100 or the utility value of minus $200. And the alternative of losing 100 for sure. So in that case, if you try to calculate the exacted value, that will be same like exacted 0.5 into $200. So 0.5 into $200, that is nothing. If I calculate the expected value, it is equal to 0.5 into minus 200, which is equal to minus 100. And in the second case, it is nothing but you can say $100 for sure. So 1 into minus $100. So that is again minus 100. So expected value in this case is same. That is what has been given in the first line. When it comes to the losing, alternative of losing $100 for sure or 50% chance for this one. Now most people prefer to take an even chance at losing $200, okay, or nothing over a sure 100 loss. So it's a negative, okay. It's a convex function and it's a negative function. So in that case, what is happening? If I try to calculate the expected utility, so you can say expected utility will be what? Maybe 0.1 into minus 100. Oh, sorry, not 1 thing. Okay. Utility value 1 into utility value of minus 100 and 0.5 into utility value of minus 200. Okay. So in that case, which one is greater? Can anyone tell me? Negative. यहाँ पे negative है. It is coming out to be because it's a case of loss here. It's not a positive, it's a negative. ठीक है ना? So try to understand here. So here, I think the 0.5 into utility value of minus 200, it will be comes out to be greater. So this is because diminishing sensitivity applied to negative as well as to positive impact. The impact of an initial $100 loss is greater than that of the next 100. So this results in a convex function for losses and preference for risky prospect here. So whenever it comes to like this one case, whenever it is a case of negative and losing something, people always follow the riskier prospect. ठीक है, जहाँ पे risk ज़्यादा लेना है मुझे. This results in a convex function for losses and the preference for risky prospect over sure outcome of risk. And this is known as risk seeking. So with the exception of prospect that implies very small probability, risk aversion is generally observed in a choices involving gain while risk seeking in a loss. So based on the above passage, analyze the decision situation faced by 3 persons, that is Babu, Babita and Shmasu. So any doubts to anyone regarding the treatment, risk aversion, risk taking, all these are clear? Can we move to the questions now? Okay. Ideally, I think they should not ask such type of the question before that. This is something which they should actually taught in the class, in the XLRI. Because most of the people will not be able to solve this type of questions if they do not know these things. Now, firstly, it says, suppose instant and the further utility of each unit of gain is same for Babu. So it says that the instant and the further utility of each unit gain is same for the bar. So can you tell me what is the function here? Is it a curve function? Can you say in that case the function is nothing but it is basically a straight line y equal to x? Because the instant utility of a unit gain or the further utility of a unit gain, both of them are same. So both of them are same. It means what? Like for example, if there is a unit gain from here to here, you know, this unit gain, or if there is a unit change at a further utility, instant utility. So in that case, both the values are same. Like this value, I'm saying, or this value. That these two values, let me. These two values, it should be same. ये तभी same हो सकती है ना when it is nothing but it's a straight line. Am I right? When the curve is a straight line, then only these two values can be same. Instant flow or at the very far, if I take it. So this curve is nothing but it's a straight line. Now Babu has decided to play as many times as possible before retirement. He expected to live for another 50 years. A game does not last more than 10 seconds. Babu is confused which theory to trust for making decision and seeks help of a renowned decision-making consultant, Roy Assistant. What should be Roy Assistant's advice? Now tell me one thing. In this case, can you say whether I go for expected value or expected utility? Both of them will be same. Yes or no? Expected value and the expected utility, दोनों से तो same values आएगी because it's a straight line. So what should be the answer choices among A, B, C, D, and E? Tell me. Surprisingly, okay. The correct answer is nothing but it should be option E. E for elephant. Elephant ही होता है ना E for? Yes. ठीक है. Why? Try to understand. A. Babu can decide on the basis of expected value hypothesis. That is correct. Babu should decide on the basis of expected utility hypothesis. That is also correct. Mr. Babu, I am redundant. When I am saying Mr. Babu, I am redundant, means like Rajendra, if you are, let us say if you are a Babu, okay, and I am a raw associate. So if I say Mr. Babu, I am redundant, what does it mean? That you can go for any theory. You do not need me at all. Okay, I am redundant. It means you don't need me actually. Go for anything. मेरी जरूरत ही नहीं है ना? क्यों नहीं है मेरी जरूरत? Because from both of the cases, you will be getting the same value. So the correct answer choice should be A, B, and C. Clear now? Why I marked C? Because C says Mr. Babu, I am redundant. It means basically from both of the cases, it doesn't matter whether you should go for expected value or expected utility. From both of the cases, you will be getting same thing. You don't need me. Go for anything. Clear to all of you? Can I move to the next question? Okay. So only 3% of you have got it right. Most of you have got it wrong. But anyway, it was a difficult question. Can I move to the next question? All right. Now, it says, Babita played a game where she had 3 options with the probabilities 0.4, 0.5 and 0.8. So, probability. And the gain from these 3 outcomes are likely to be $100, $80 and $50. An expert has pointed that Babita is a risk-taking person. Okay, Babita is a risk-taking person. So according to expected utility, now expected utility hypothesis. Now if you look at here, what is happening in this case? Can you say the expected value in all the 3 cases are same? Take a 0.4 into 100. Take a, it is same as 0.5 into 100. Sorry, 0.5 into 80. The 0.5 into 80 and it is equal to nothing but that is 0.8 into 50. All of them are nothing but that will give me 40. So expected value it is same and we need to follow the expected utility hypothesis and see the risk-taking person. So if he is a risk-taking person, can you say he should choose the one where there is a greater risk? जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा risk है. So which option should I should select? First option, because here the probability is nothing but very low, 0.4. Yes or no? So the answer in this case is, of course, option number E. 35% of you got it right. Clear? Can I move to the next question? So C is a risk taking person, so with a very less probability because expected value is C. Alright. Let's move to the question number 3. Continuing with the previous question, suppose Babita can play one more game. Which theory would help in arriving at a better decision? Okay. Which theory? So expected value or I think now it is already given that she is what? She is a risk-taking person. So, and she is a risk-taking person तो कौन सा theory से इसके लिए ज़्यादा suit करेगा? So she should go for higher gain. अच्छा C. Rajendra is saying C. Manik is saying 2. I think the answer should be option number B, expected utility, because she is a risk-taking person. ठीक है. So if he is a risk-taking person, so he should, because the expected value is going to be the same, so it's better that he should go for expected utility. The answer should be option number B. She should go for a higher gain with a less probability. ठीक है? Because that is for sure that she is not going for a sure gain, and if it is not, she is not going for a sure gain. So it's better to follow the expected utility. Okay, any doubt? Can I move to the next question? One more game means Raghu, a game तो is already play कर चुकी है. If you wanted to play one more game, तो as such, the next game will be independent of the previous game result. No? All right. Can I move to the next question? 4. Now it says Bablu had 4 options with a probability of this 0.1, 0.2, and the gain associated with each of the options are respective. Bablu choose the first option as per expected value hypothesis. ठीक है ना? Expected value hypothesis. ठीक है. What should be the answer? The answer should be, in this case, in my opinion, the answer should be option number D. ठीक है? Bablu is a risk taking. A. Why he is a risk taking? ठीक है? Now it is already given. Try to understand here. It is already given that you need to follow the expected value hypothesis. So when I am talking about the risk taking, and like this one, Bablu is the risk taking. Okay. I need to use the expected value hypothesis, and since the expected value for all of them are same, ठीक है? Expected value for all of them are same. So it does not matter which option Babu should choose. क्योंकि expected value तो सबका same है ना? The answer should be, in my opinion, it should be 4. In any case, option number B and C is out of the scope because when it is saying expected value function is concave, expected value function is convex. No, when it comes to the function, it is basically about the expected utility function can be concave or convex, not the expected value. So B, C to वैसे ही we can detect it here. So the choice is now between E and D. So I think, in my opinion, ठीक है, the answer should be okay. Or if I go here, if you read, it says preference for a sure outcome over a risky prospect of equal expected value is called a risk averse. So I think the answer should be option number 4 only. Okay. Because question number 4, no? It does not matter which option Babu should choose because he is simply following the expected value hypothesis, and expected value hypothesis, all of them are same. सबकी value same आ रही है ना? I think you need to calculate that. You can see that 0.1 into 1000, it is same as 0.25 into 400, which is same as 0.5 into $200, which is same as 1 into $100. So expected value for all of them are same. So it means it does not matter. हाँ, क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 में सब सेम है, बट सी इज अ रिस्क टेकिंग पर्सन. तो रिस्क टेकिंग तो एक्सपेक्टेड यूटिलिटी होता है ना राजेंद्र. So I hope that it is a difficult set. It's better to leave any such type of this set in which you are not comfortable. It's better to leave. Can I move to the next set based on HR? Alright. So let's move to the next set, which is based on the HR. Let me see. Yes. There are 4 questions. So 5, 6, 7, 8. So for these 4 questions, I'm going to give you 10 minutes approximately. And after 10 minutes, if you need more time, then probably I can give you more time in that. So right now the time is 9:50. So 9:50 to 10. And after 10 minutes, I'll ask you. So please check whether you all have got the right. So please start. Last 1 minute. Last 40 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Okay. Time up. Now let's start with the discussion now. And let me read this and then we can start with the discussion. It says Om Chaudhary was one of the supervisors in Fire and Safety Department. He was a supervisor in Fire and Safety Department of Maqsood Textile Mills. He was a distant cousin to okay, who is a general manager, personnel and administration. The personnel and administration department was given the responsibility of all personnel related discussion. It was often rumored, that Om had obtained the job due to his cousin's influence. However, that is important, Om was meticulous in the performance of his duties and didn't give any reason. He has never given any reason for the complaint. It was known that Om was not much given to talking and keeps to himself and to his duties. All FNS supervisors reported to Mr. Ravindra, the shop floor manager. The mill operated on a 3-shift basis and Ravindra allocated, now there is a 3-shift here, and Ravindra allocated the supervisors to different shifts. All right. They were required to be present at all times during the shift operations and carry out scheduled checks on the machinery and the firefighting. For some reasons, Om was allocated the night shift more often than the other supervisors. Om accepted these allocations without any objection. While it was known that the other supervisors would often plead and bargain with the Ravindra to be allocated to the day shift. During the night shift, keeping awake and remaining mentally alert were some of the major challenges faced by the supervisors. Okay, let's move to the next point. Of late, Ravindra observed a sign of indifference from the Om. On 2 occasions, he found Om absent from his cabin. Ravindra heard from the that Om was often found in different parts of the shop floor employees. Okay. He was often found in different parts of the shop floor of the employees. Ravindra called him in his office and reminded Om of his responsibilities. Om did not counter Ravindra. He promised that he would not be lax in his duties again. Ravindra also broached the subject with Mr. Broached the subject with Mr. Bhiwani. Mr. Bhiwani called Om to his office and talked on a very personal basis. He reminded Om that their family relations made it uncomfortable to all concerned. Om nodded and agreed to do about it. Soon his performance becomes that of a model supervisor. It was often found that he went beyond his official duties to sort out problems of employees. After 3 months later, Ravindra happened to visit. After a gap of 3 months, he happened to visit plant during night. As he looked into the FNS office, he found Om playing solitaire on the office computer. Mr. Ravindra immediately fired. The next morning, Mr. Bhiwani called Mr. Ravindra and asked how he can fire an employee. He suggested that Mr. Ravindra reconsider Om dismissal. He should reconsider the Om dismissal. This decision has already been made. There will be no turning back, replied Ravindra. Okay. So this was an easy set. Let's start with the discussion. The option below gives combination of a possible root cause of the problem and the justification thereof. Given the detail in the case, which one can be inferred. So 0% of you had marked this, 10% of you had marked option number B, okay, 20% of you had marked this one, and 40-50% you had said this, and 3% had you had said this. Okay, I will go with the majority. 50% of you are right. The correct answer for this question is, of course, option number B. Now let's discuss all the options in which there is a certain doubt. First option, no one has marked. 17%. Okay, hiring of Om. Okay. That ensured Om was perpetually casual towards his duty. Now, when it says the Om was perpetually casual towards, was he perpetually casual towards his duties? No. Okay. Remember one thing, Om was relaxed only for a little while. Okay. But then he started acting responsibly as soon as he was reminded of his duties. Once the Ravindra reminded him of his duty, so he has in fact become a very moderate supervisor in that case. So you cannot say that the Om was perpetual casual towards his duty. So the answer can't be option number 1. Any doubts to anyone in the option number 1? A. B में doubt है. 10% of your mark B. Om favoring to work during night shift. Take a Om favoring to work during the night shift. Now, when you say that the Om favoring to work during the night shift, take care. Now remember, Om never showed any preference or disliking towards the night shift. Take care. He has never pleaded or he has never bargained for that. So you cannot say that the Om is favoring to work during the night shift. He never said to anyone that he wants to work during the night shift. No. He was assigned a night shift job, but he never complained about that. So that's why the answer can't be option number B. Clear? Whatever has been allotted to Mr. Om, he has already accepted that. He never favored for this one. So any doubts to anyone in the option B, please ask me before I move to the next option, C. Okay. Pakka. Now, option number C, around 20% of your mark. Let's discuss. Ravindra's bias against Om. Now, where in the passage you have seen that the Ravindra is biased against the Om? Those who had the doubts, please tell me. Kahan pe mention hai? Now, remember one thing which is very important. Ravindra happened to assign more night shifts to Om because the reason is that Om has never refused as well as Om never bargained with him. So, since Om has never refused to work in during the night shift and Om has never bargained for that, so you cannot say that Ravindra was biased against Om. Okay. Now, if you can say he should be biased, probably in that case he should have pleaded, he should have bargained. Even after bargaining or pleading also, if the Ravindra has given a night shift to home, so in that case you could have said that okay, he was biased. But no, from the passage you can't say that. And the last one, Ravindra firing of home. नहीं ये तो ऐसे नहीं होगा, ठीक है. It led to a clash between Ravindra and no, there was no clash. ठीक है, it was simple. There was no clash. It is just a minor issue. That's it. There was no clash between Ravindra and Mr. Bhiwani in the passage. So the answer is option number D. Now, any doubts to anyone? Anyone has any doubts? Please ask me or put your points. No? Can I move to the next question? Easy tha ye question, not a difficult one. Options are also not very close. Sixth, the detail of the entire episode have become common knowledge among all the employees of the company. Okay, it has become common knowledge among all the employees of the company. Out of the options below, which one presents the best way? I need to find out the best way for the top management to resolve the issues so as to benefit the organization as a whole. So as to benefit the organization as a whole. Okay. Now, if I look at the statement A, it says revoke Ravindra's order. Okay. C says, okay, it can be communicated to others that firing was too severe a punishment for such a small incident of indiscipline. C says, declare Ravindra's order as advised. Retaliate officially that disciplinary process that needs to be followed by managers along with their scope of authority. Okay, C. Okay. And take the feedback of others, like E also. Take the feedback of other FNS supervisors. अगर मैं A और C की बात करता हूँ तो A and C, both of them, both the statement, can I say it is actually undermining the role of that Mr. Ravindra? Yes or no? Here, option number A and C, both the Ravindra, whatever the role in which it has been assigned. Okay. So does any organization publicly can, whether they want to show give this type of the impression that okay, if you are a supervisor then you cannot take such type of the decision? Please tell me. In front of everyone, Nina. So usually they will avoid. Okay, publicly. Okay. Now, anyway, I will first of all tell you what is the correct answers. What you have marked. 3% of you had marked option number this 23, 13, 30, and 70. So option number A and option number C is ruled out. Why? Because both the options are actually undermining the authority of the Ravindra to some extent. Okay, which is certainly not in the welfare of the organization as a whole, undermining the authority of the person who has been given supreme roles. Okay, so for that particular reason, you can eliminate A and C. Okay. Or also the kind of the message you will get here, especially in option number A and C, is that revoke Ravindra's order, declare Ravindra order as a what. So a lot of people might start thinking that okay, it is just because he's the cousin of that Mr. Bhiwani, so that's why the Ravindra's order has been revoked and it has been void. So people will start thinking in that way that the home has got an advantage because of his relationship with the Bhiwani. So that's why the answer can't be option number A and C. And with a similar logic, I can eliminate E also because it says take the feedback of other FNS supervisors as to the work involved during the night shift. This would better explain Home's behavior. Now, taking the feedback of the other FNS supervisors will actually, nothing but it will undermine the authority of the Ravindra. For example, if your boss starts taking the feedback of you from the other employees of your companies, so तुम्हें तो बुरा ही लगेगा ना? It will not set a very good example in the organization. So for that particular reason, you can eliminate option number E. Any doubts to anyone in ECE? No? Okay. Now we are left up with choice B and D. B says ask feedback from the other employees on the shop floor regarding home performance. This can be used to revoke Ravindra's order. And ask home for clarification. It can be communicated that since home has clarified regarding its duties, the order has been taken back. Now, which is the better option among B and D? Please tell me. Again, option number D, you can reject it because of this particular reason. Okay. Already a senior person of the company has taken a decision, and then you are talking to the junior person regarding whether that decision is good or not. So you are actually undermining the authority. So you can, for that reason, you can eliminate option number D. So the best way is nothing, that probably you can ask him for a clarification, and then later on it can be communicated regarding the. So the best option, best way in my opinion, should be option number B. Any doubts to anyone? Still, if you have any doubts, please discuss with me. If you want to put your points. No, who is saying that he is giving a clarification? If it's the clarification, and if his clarification is perfectly okay, so definitely, how can you say that it will become a common thing? नहीं होगा ना common thing. In that case, he's asking for a clarification. Company should always, okay, there is an always, remember one thing, there is always a objection committee which has been set up by the organization. Have you heard about the objection committee? Yes ना, क्यों सेटअप करते हैं? ठीक है, what is the role of this committee? Whenever such type of the action is taking, ठीक है, just to discuss, okay, all these things such that the employees of that particular organization can give a proper clarification. And if that committee finds, okay, that clarification is good, then probably they will not fire him. Otherwise, they can be fired. So it's better that he should be given a chance for the clarification. Okay, is that clear now? Because nowhere he has never been given a chance for the clarification. He has simply saw that, okay, he's playing a solitaire and he has fired him. That's it. He never asked anything else. So that way, actually, he has been given a chance. So that will give a good impression in the organization, actually. Seventh, let me discuss here. 3%, 40%, 23%, 3%, and 3%. Out of the option below, which one best summarizes the learning from the solitaire accident? Okay. Now, what is the learning from here, solitaire accident? Can I say the learning from the entire passage is that one should not be just based on the what he sees without the investigation, without a proper investigation. Just because I saw that he's playing a solitaire, so I cannot assume that he's not working at all, or he's not efficient, he's not doing anything in the company. So basically, the learning from the passage is that people should not be judged only on the basis of what our eyes see. Is that clear? You all agree with me? Okay. So accordingly, now tell me which option is the best option. That's right, the correct answer is option number C. Certain roles would have different ways of carrying out their duties. Okay, certain roles would have different ways of carrying out their duties. The correct answer for this question is, of course, option number C. Okay. Like a lot of you had marked B, that people tend to become relaxed during night shift and require surprise kicks to keep them on the toes. Now remember one thing, supervisor is always expected to keep awake and mentally alert. But by playing solitaire, it doesn't mean that one is relaxing or neglecting his duty. Just because he's playing a solitaire doesn't mean that he's relaxing or neglecting his duties. So the answer should be option number C. Clear? Can I move to the next question? Okay, and remember from the passage, we also know that the Om always performed his duties very properly, and he even went out to help his colleagues. So you cannot say that it needs a surprise. Okay, question number 8, last question of this set, of this session. 0% of your mark, option number 1. Okay. Option number B is 13%, 10%, and then 47%, and then 0%. Okay, so in that case, of the options below, which could have been a better response from Mr. Ravindra? when he saw Om playing. After discussing the previous three questions, I think must have got a lot of ideas. Can anyone tell me? If anyone want to change the answer, किस option पे mark करोगे? ठीक है. Definitely, the Om should be given a chance for the clarification. We have discussed because he never clarified anything. He had assumed that the answer should be option number D. He should have checked if Om had done his duties or. Clear to all of you? Does anyone want me to discuss any other options? Pakka? So how many of you have got 4 out of 4 correct or 3 out of 4 correct? Timid has got 4, that's good. Rohit 4, Nihar 3, that's good. Manik 4. So this was easy, HR based, but easy tha, doable. Not a difficult one like the previous one. So can we move to the next set, the last set for today's session, which is based on the business, not HR, but it's a business case study. So the last set for today's session, and I'm giving you again another 10 minutes to solve this set. So right now time is 10:22. So 10:22 to 10:22. So you have got 10 minutes for this. Please start. Master has to solve it. Okay. Last 50 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Okay, so let's start with the discussion. Let me go through this passage first of all. Sekhar, an MBA from Singapore, returned to his hometown, Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur had a population of 10 lakh, with one of the highest per capita income, among Indian cities. Sekhar loved music. While listening to his favorite song on satellite radio, he wondered if he could mix his passion with business. Incidentally, a few weeks later, while called for expression of interest from a potential franchisee, Jamshedpur did not have a single good music outlet, where its residents could buy quality, variety, and the latest from the world of music. Music World wanted the potential franchisee to own minimum 1200 square feet space and the investment of rupees 30 lakh. Profit were to be shared in the ratio 3:7 between Music World and the franchisee. While Sekhar was excited about working with the renowned brand, he was worried if rupees 30 lakh was too high an amount to sell up, did not have the entire amount with him. and was thinking of borrowing from the bank. Okay, he was thinking of borrowing from the bank. He made inquiries with other music hall franchisees located in towns like Patna and Ranchi as he expected similar footfall in Jamshedpur. Okay. A franchisee in Patna had a sales revenue varying from 1 to 2 lakh rupees per month with a profit margin in the range of 25 to 30%. Satisfied, Shekhar decided to proceed. Okay. Soon he was on the lookout for the space. Jamshedpur has three main areas: Bistupur, Sakchi, and Sondri. All areas were interconnected by good roads. Bistupur was a business area. So Bistupur was a business area where most of high and retail formats were located. Most upper middle class and the higher class customers shopped there. It was also an education hub of the city. On the other hand, Sakchi has a lower, lowing middle class business area, and Sonari had mostly retail area. Shekhar was in favor. Now, Shekhar was in favor of choosing Bistupur as it was the place where he shopped, where he actually used to do shopping. Okay, this was the reason. However, he soon stumbled across problems. Not only it was difficult to obtain space in Bistupur, but property rented at 30 to 40 rupees per square feet per month. Renters at Sakti and Sonri were in the range of 15 to 20 rupees per square feet per month. Also, Shekhar's friend who stayed in Sakti told him that a few branded outlets were opening in Sakti and it seemed to be the fastest growing market in Jamshedpur with the highest ratio of teenagers. Shekhar was not in favor. He was not in favor of Sakti due to endorsement. He expected, now it is also important, he expected to target college going crowd in Bistupur. This was his target. College going student was his target. High real estate price in the Bistupur and his low assessment of Sakti. High real estate price in Bistupur and his low assessment of Sakti market created confusion in the Shekhar's mind. To give the decision a serious and fresh thought, he decided to hit Jamshedpur-Ranchi highway in his newly acquired car. Okay. How best should Shekhar resolve his confusion? The first option. Okay. Question number 1. Let me see what is the opinion. 7, 0, 0, 64, and 11. Now, first of all, you need to understand what was his confusion. It says the passage has not arrived at any conclusion. If you read there, there is no conclusion. Shekhar was not able to reach to the conclusion. And why he was not able to reach to the conclusion? Because he was confused. And what was his confusion? That should he select Bistupur or should he go for a Sakti? And he has a low assessment of Sakti. So the confusion is basically that whether he needs to go for a Bistupur or he needs to go for a Sakti market. And how can he clear the confusion? That is the basic question. So now tell me what should the option be. I'll go with the majority. The correct answer is of course option number D. Okay. Since there is a confusion in his mind, that which area he should open. So first of all, he should go for a further in-depth study to find the drivers and the potential of the business in these areas. Kahan pe jana? Then that can only clear all his confusion. So the answer should be option number D. By investing in the franchisee, now those who had marked 7% of you that by investing in the franchisee, if you are going to invest in the franchisee, how can you invest in the franchisee if you are still confused? Okay? His confusion was not clear. So first of all, he needs to clear his confusion. His confusion can be cleared only with the in-depth study. Okay? Clear any doubts to anyone, any other option? Or talking to another music company, no, it will not clear his confusion. The confusion is regarding the place. So any doubts to anyone? Pakka? Kahan pe kiya in-depth study? Batao. Where it has been given to say in-depth. His friend has told him. Shekhar was not favoring because of its low image. But just because, friend se kya hai? His friend has told him, that's it. For example, your friend has told you that decision making का जो answer होना चाहिए, quant में ये चीज पढ़ लो. ठीक है. अब if your friend has suggested Raghu Bhaskar that okay, quant के topic में you just go through these topics, and if you are in a confusion what to discuss, what to do or what not to do, so you will take the help of whom? to your friend, or you go for an in-depth study and you will discuss with me, sir, what I should do so that I can clear the crack, the cat or rat? Tell me. Just because तुमने अपने friend से पूछ लिया and your friend has told him कि okay, the few things are going to open here, so it doesn't mean I should go and research that, okay, that which all companies are coming in that particular area, which all stores are going to open in such areas and क्या इसकी expenses future में. Okay, clear? Can I move to the next question? Okay. Any other doubts to anyone? Because when you started to do certain sort of business, Raghu, it might be possible you will discuss with your friends. Is it necessary that your friends are actually aware about everything about that particular area? No, na? You will take the help of a lot of people. You might go for a research also. Okay. Pool करवाओगे. Okay, what are the different? Question number 10. Let me see what are the answers. Question number 10. 11% of you mark this. 4% and 4% and 0% and 39%. The correct answer is, of course, option number E. That is maybe never. Okay. Now it says, suppose sales in Patna and Vistupur are likely to be the same. Okay. If the sales in Patna and Vistupur are likely to be the same, that is given in the question. In how many years could it take for Sekar to recoup the investment considered zero? Now, what is the monthly rate? If I'm talking about the monthly rate of the property, okay, we need approximate how much area is needed. 1200. Yes or no? Area is which is needed in this question is nothing but I think 1200. पक्का यही है ना? देखो, yes, minimum. I am taking a minimum 1200 square feet, and if I take a minimum rate is nothing but that is equal to 30 to 40 kVs. You can take also the average if you need it. So even if I take a minimum values, okay, so monthly rate is minimum, it is going to be 1200 into 30. Okay, that is equal to 36,000 per month. Okay, that is PM. I'm writing 36,000 per month. That is the monthly rate. Okay, what is the sales revenue? Okay. Sales revenue in the Patna is in the range of 1 to 2 lakhs. Yes or no? Yeah. Kahin pe mentioned, I think. Yes, sales revenue in the Patna is from 1 to 2 lakhs with a profit margin of 25 to 30%. Even if I say it's a minimum sales revenue, that let's say there is a sales revenue of 1 lakh here, or you can take a lot. So if I sales, okay, 1 lakh sales revenue, okay, and there is a profit margin of, let's say 25%. In 1 lakh, there is a margin of 25%. So what is the sales? 1 lakh and margin of 25%. ठीक है, तो कितना होगा इसमें 1 लाख में if I say a margin of 25%. ठीक है, a margin of 25% if I say. ठीक है, why I should take maximum? Minimum ही लेके सकते हैं ना. ठीक है, I have to take a decision. Whenever we do a business, we okay, business के लिए तो usually you thinking that you know, okay, if I am spending certain amount of money, तो मेरा minimum sales revenue इतना हो सकता है, तो minimum पे check करेंगे ना, कि minimum इतना है, maximum की तो कोई guarantee नहीं है, maximum can be anything, but minimum इतना तो हो ही रहा ना, so I see whether even if there is a minimum sales, then whether still it is in profit or not. So if I say, or you can take the average also. So 1 lakh with 25%. So even if I say, let's say the profit is of approximately 25,000 per month. Yes or no? So monthly rate is 36,000 per month, and the sales revenue is also 25,000 per month. Okay. Even in that case, it is going to split in the ratio 3:7. Okay. So 3:7. So अब ये बताओ, even if the sales revenue is lesser than the monthly rate, if the sales revenue is lesser than the monthly rent, so whether can this be in the profit? नहीं ना, कभी भी profit में नहीं आएगा. So that's why the answer should be maybe never. Even if my revenue is, I'm taking a minimum revenue, तो monthly rate भी ज़्यादा ही है, maximum का तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. So answer should be maybe never. हाँ, even if you take 2 lakhs, तो 28,000 होगा. That's right, approximately. You can take the average also. So the answer should be maybe never. He'll never be able to recover the money. Is that clear to all of you? Can I move to the next question? What could be the most likely reason? Okay, the question is, what could be the most likely reason for second bias in favor of the Bishnupur? That is given in the last line of the passage. Okay. Okay. He is expecting, Shekhar is expected to target college going crowd in the Bishnupur. Okay, he is expected to target college going crowd in the Bishnupur. That was his main reason. Okay. College going student. So the answer should be option number A. Presence of college going crowd, as he feels there would be customer for the latest news. How many of your mark? 36% of your mark. Option number E. Because the answer is definitely option. Any other option which you want me to discuss? 36%, 4%, 18%, 0. E. Patronage of Bishnupur slots by executive. Now, what do you mean by patronage? Here the passage is talking about the patronage of Shekhar himself. Shekhar himself used to buy the product. So it is talking about the Shekhar, that since Shekhar used to buy the product, so it doesn't mean it is talking about the patronage of the slot by executive and their families. Okay, Rohit? And remember, moreover, the passage is talking about, refers to the upper class and the higher middle class people. It never talks about the executive. Does anywhere in the passage the word executive and their family has been mentioned? No, it has been mentioned that the people of the upper class and the higher middle class, they usually go to shop there, not the executive and their families. Can I move ahead? 12. Which one of the following is the most important decision criteria in such a business system? In my opinion, I can say, maybe you can differ with me, but in my opinion, most of the people invest money in any business when they see whether there is a future market in that particular or not. So I will go for option number C. Future market growth. Whether this has a future market or not. You must have heard that most of the company invested in the startups. What, depending upon whether there is in the future whether there is a market for that particular company. So the answer should be future market, not in the clear. Any doubts with this? 64% of you are right. Any doubts to anyone? Question number 11. कहाँ पे मिले? Question number 11 में क्या मिला? Sakshi has a highest ratio of teenagers in the second line. That's right. But teenagers का मतलब क्या है? Whether the teenagers are, what do you want to say, Raghu? Tell me. पहले तो ये बताओ. Teenagers से what do you mean by the ratio of teenagers? हाँ, but he's not choosing Sakshi ना. कि साक्षी को चूज कर रहा है. He is in the confusion. That's why he is in the confusion. Okay. So tell me, कौन से टीनेजर्स होते हैं 12 साल के 13 साल के बच्चे जो कॉलेज में पढ़ना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं? जरा मुझे बताओ. टीनेजर्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम वेयर? 13 teen, 14 teen, 15 teen, 16 teen, 17 teen. क्या तुम कॉलेज में पढ़ रहे थे? नहीं ना? Till 19, and after that we cannot say. He is actually targeting the college going crowd, not the teenagers. And that is the confusion. Initially he wanted to go because of the college going crowds, and that's why he is in the confusion. Sakshi में भी teenagers है, तो आगे में भी future अच्छा हो सकता है. So how many of you have got all 4 correct in the last set? Man, 4, Garvit 3, Garvit 4, 3. Easy, not a difficult. See. Alright, so let's end the session here. We'll meet tomorrow again with another session on decision making with few more sets, new interesting sets, and we'll discuss it tomorrow. Okay. So good night to all of you. and we'll be meeting.
Music